But her sun, you see, is already in the opposition to progressed Uranus. And then it goes on to oppose natal Uranus. So for the next, 3.5 years about, she's going to have the sun opposite Uranus. And again, this is the potential of just change out of the office, of course, change of her work when the term ends, but it also could be the change in her personal life. And the sun is going to move in on Juno in the 7th house cusp. Now, depending on the person, this could be marriage, it also could be split. But it's something which is going to have to deal with partnership, for sure.
Or it could also be the split, since it's going to be square the natal.
Yeah. And it's going to be quincunx Vesta, and I find Vesta all the time, the alienation in relationships. So it could be just the change of work again. When she leaves the presidency, it could be nothing more than that. But these points coming into conjunct Vesta, and the sun's moving to quincunx.
And you said I got a fair Genesis flowers. Could Venus have been opposite of Venus?
No, it was early. Yeah. They were involved for 10 years while he was living in Arkansas. But, well, he was in Arkansas up until 92. So it was not that long ago. When he was campaigning, apparently it was fairly recently that they had patched up their marriage and he had stopped the affair. So it was presumably going on pretty much through the 80s, the 1980s.
I'd like to know when Hillary found out about that.
Well, she had to know that stuff was going on.
No.
Yes, I think she had to know.
You're saying that every
She's not a stupid
knows.
lady. No, not all. I'm saying she is too smart and too intuitive not to have known. And too suspicious with all that Scorpio. But there are women who are so dependent on their husbands, they can't afford to look. I did an interesting chart not long ago. Yeah, they can't afford to recognize it and acknowledge it. This was a chart for a very aware, highly intelligent psychologist who knows some astrology, and she came to me to have her grown son's chart done because she couldn't understand why he was treating her the way he was. Every time she called him, he seemed happy to hear from her, happy to talk to her, but he never called her. And when she went to visit him, and he lives in another state, he seemed a little uncomfortable, and she couldn't understand why. And I felt, I couldn't give her details, but I felt it was connected to his marriage. She felt it was connected to his wife in some way, and to the idealism. It was really strong in the sun's chart, the idealism around marriage. And so she was able to figure it out from that she had had a messy divorce when the kid was young. And he really valued his marriage and really wanted to maintain a good marriage. And she had gotten some information that led her to think that his wife was having an affair. But it was over, and he didn't know, and he couldn't afford to look at it. It was too important to him to have this ideal marriage. So he couldn't look at the fact that his wife had had an affair. And because at some subconscious level, he knew his mother knew, he was uncomfortable with dealing with her. So it was a very convoluted human situation, but it made her feel better, the mother, because it wasn't that he disliked her or didn't love her, but he was protecting his marriage.
And they couldn't communicate about it.
Yes, and they couldn't talk about it.
That's incredible.
Yeah, human interest and what extents people can go to.
Here's the two closest relationships, mother and wife. You can't even talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to talk about.
Well, you think would be easier because if you value the relationship for honesty.
I have a
No.
wonderful relationship with my daughter. My girlfriend says all the time, I can't believe the stuff you can talk to your mother about. Well, I won't leave her, your children are equal. Most people aren't like that. The children are...
It depends on the situation. Now, I didn't confide in my mother because my mother worried. I told her anything that give her any excuse for worrying, she would worry. So I didn't tell her anything. And it wasn't that I didn't like her, but I was protecting her from, she was such a worrier.
Well, I mean, would you talk to her and say, don't be a worrier, there's nothing to worry about. I
Oh,
have
yeah,
faith.
right.
No,
Yeah,
no.
you just change
I
your
have faith in
character.
the universe,
Just
right?
change your character, yeah.
right.
With Capricorn rising and the moon in Capricorn in the first house and Saturn in the 10th house, she should stop worrying.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Well, haven't you ever heard of behavior modification?
Yes, but daughters don't do it to their mothers.
Certain people, if you're doing it professionally, they need to work on it, but not in the
Yeah.
relationship.
So if you understand psychology, you see these human dramas that we play out, and there are lots of reasons for not talking.
Well, I do that with my friend when she was in Hawaii. I talked to her a couple of times this last week of the storms, and I said very little about the storm until it was over.
Yeah,
Because I knew
Uh-huh.
Capricorn would fret and worry
yeah,
about the house watching.
Well, that's interesting because I had a client years ago. Remember, what's his name? Charles. He wanted to be a woman. He used to dress up like Grace Kelly.
Oh, Grace
on
Kelly,
Halloween, and
right.
he was gorgeous. But he was gay.
yeah,
You know, his
Yeah.
mother had two sons. The oldest one wasn't gay. He was gay. And he was looking for someone to care for him.
mm-hmm,
His mother had been injured really badly, almost was killed in an automobile accident, and she couldn't use her arms. So Charles was protecting her, or helping her. He would buy her clothes and bring her to me and have me alter them because her new husband was like a hillbilly. I mean, from Arkansas in the hills. And
mm-hmm.
when Charles died from AIDS, she called me and told me he died from a gunshot. He had gotten a gunshot wound while he was on location, and the blood transfusion had given him AIDS.
Wow, my
Now, whether
goodness.
that was true or not,
Yeah,
I don't know, but that's what she told me. And she said it's like having your heart ripped out when your child dies.
yeah,
This, watch him die. And she had his name on a quilt, this big quilt, the AIDS quilt.
yeah. Well, there's no way that I see Hillary living alone. And my suspicion is that if she does decide that she's really had it with Bill, someone else will come into her life pretty quickly and she'll remarry. But she is an attractive woman. And her progressed midheaven by the new term, by January 2001, is going to have started a trine to Juno.
Right.
It'll be up to 28, almost 29 Aries by that time. Her progressed anti-vertex, by that time, is 28 Gemini. And so it's moving into the ascendant, and her sun is moving into Juno in the 7th house. Her sun still is a little ways away from that, but I think that she may very well attract someone else. Will be able to be more faithful.
What about the man named Webb Hubble that she had with business?
No, Webb Hubble was just a business associate. Yeah, there was nothing personal there. I don't think so. I think she's married and been single-mindedly connected to promoting Bill's career.
But I mean now, if she would decide to.
No, I don't think he was of any interest
You
to
were
her.
talking about the sun and the aspects of the sun. 7 years, well, she goes into Capricorn. And then
Yes,
that would make me wonder a little bit if she would.
but it's in
She
the
might
partnership
take
house. She will still work. There's no way she will
Oh,
not
yeah.
always work.
Oh, and his son's going over to descendant.
Yes, it's going into the 7th house and to Juno, the marriage asteroid. But of course, it also it squares the moon, you see.
Yes.
So there's her ambivalence about it. She is very protective of Chelsea, her only little child. And so she was trying to protect Chelsea. And at the same time, she's got enough instinct for self-preservation that if Bill really doesn't shape up in any form, we'll see what happens. Another interesting thing, remember that in Bill's case, right at the time of the end of the term is when his Pallas gets to his 4th house cusp. Well, in her case, Pallas has just reached her 7th house cusp for this affair coming out. Pallas is up there at 4 Pisces and 7 minutes. So if her birth time's accurate, Pallas is going to be going over the midheaven for the next 3 or more years. The asteroids are slower, so at least 4 years probably, and probably longer. So that's a potential any time of a change of her political situation, her job, her career, her status, marital status, anything can be changing. Now,
she like California. I think
Yeah.
she'll probably end up living
I
there.
wouldn't be surprised if she moved to California. Uh-huh.
I'm sure she's taken trips out here we've never even known about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Now, William in her natal chart is at 22 Cancer, natal William. And it's progressing slowly. So it was direct to birth, then it turned retrograde. So now it's retrograding at 20 Cancer and 46 minutes. And during the past, immediate past 2-3 years, it's been going over her progressed east point, which is now past it. You can see that. And it's also been on her natal Cupido, another one of the love asteroids. And her natal Fanatica is in there, also on Cupido, retrograding. So she's looking at this sexpot husband.
Cupido, huh?
Yeah, Cupido and Fanatica, which just means excessive, overdoing something, and William, and her east point, her personal action, identity.
Well, I'll tell you something. You think when you get older, you get wiser and more mature. But
I would wish.
I'll tell you, we've known people in their men in their 60s.
Oh, Christopher.
Some of them are still
Well,
chasing.
Christopher, did we tell you about him? He was 65 and he was having an affair with a girl who was 26 and had a boyfriend too.
Yeah.
She had a boyfriend, she married her boyfriend, and he married her. But he had an affair with her.
Yeah.
While she was living with him,
When
with
she
the
was
boyfriend.
living with his boyfriend, he knew about it.
What
Yeah.
about some
And
of
his
the,
wife knew about it too.
what about some of the ugly rumors that Hillary is lesbian?
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate, but I think she could be very highly sexed, so she could be both. What they call acey-deucey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be possible, I think, with this chart. It's a really intensely sensual chart. And it's a question of what she does with it. We can't know that.
It's funny because I never even thought of that.
Well, I didn't think of it myself, I just heard it.
Apparently, I've heard it too, but apparently she has really devoted friends.
This is not Ellen.
And it may be just devoted friends rather than anything sexual. But it's not beyond possibility with this chart. Now, natal Monica is in 20 Aquarius in 2 minutes. And that means progressed William is quincunx Monica. So William got separated from Monica.
It's 22.
It's 20 Aquarius in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's over a degree, but it's still opposite for Saturn, natal Saturn. I thought. And also, I was going to say it's also square Mercury, which rules her ascendant. So it's still a little bit of a degree.
I'm just looking for natal star because I didn't get that in. Some of these I just started and never had time to finish them. And there it is. I found it. Okay, natal star is 15 Capricorn 34.
Ooh. We'll catch that Pluto anyway.
Yes, that is within orb. Pluto is holding that conjunction with her Mars and quincunx to star. So there's the power struggle, definitely. And progress star is at 12 Aquarius 10. So it's moving towards an opposition to Pluto. And her ascendant is moving into the opposition to star. But those are still, we're looking ahead at least 2 years and maybe 3. So the end of the term, probably. Her ascendant will be opposite star by that time. And progressed Monica is at 1 Pisces 44. And that has been square her Jupiter. So while the affair was going on, Monica was square Jupiter. But that has ended. And it's now moving into a trine to her Sun. So maybe something positive is coming out of this in terms of her public image, because people are sympathizing with her and admiring her for fighting for her husband, defending him. So I think her press has been more positive and has helped to win her some public favor and opinion.
Yes.
Well, the only thing that happened, I think, that was somewhat negative was using the conspiracy idea.
Yeah, some people, however, actually jumped on that and thought this was right, agreed with it.
People agree with it.
Yeah, right. Another interesting one that has harmony aspects is Paula. Progressed Paula is 13 Aries 9. And that is trining her progressed Mercury and moving into trine her Mars. So again, this suggests that some of the press is helpful to her, what's coming out of this, that it's not all negative. It's got to be personally painful to know that Bill's playing, and just that he's still doing it. But as far as her public image goes, it looks like it has some positive sides to it. Another interesting one is progressed Aletheia, the goddess of truth, is at 11 Capricorn, just about to start a sextile to her natal Chiron, which I think is like Jupiter, also associated somewhat with openness and honesty and truth. So I think whether or not it comes out, all of it in the public, I think she's finding out, getting informed, and it's already in a semi-sextile to progressed Jupiter.
You often mention projection as Scorpio being the final.
There's Libra and Scorpio. It's most often, though, in Libra more than Scorpio even, because Scorpio is more aware usually. But it can happen with Scorpio too.
I was wondering about that in this connection, about Scorpio that she has.
Uh-huh.
How much is he acting out that she would not do?
Oh, that's possible.
That's interesting.
She, yeah, the thing that baffles me is the chart looks as if she is really very sensual and sexual. And why he would need to play around when it was available at home. Just,
but if you put Capricorn on the 8th house, and then you can look at the 7th and the 5th, the Capricorn's kind of warm, and maybe in the relationship she's not as...
there is a power struggle issue in the relationship, I'm sure. They're both powerful people, and they're not going to be ruled by either one. So I'm sure they have battle royals, or royal battles.
Well, I remember when a healthcare plan was frozen coming out, and had that huge book,
Yeah.
She was just devastated, and
Yeah.
she was fighting with everybody. I read in the Newsweek,
Uh-huh.
there was a huge article about what had happened. And
I keep seeing some insecurity here.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't
There
show.
is insecurity,
A lot.
absolutely. Libra and Scorpio do have that insecurity, and part of the reason Scorpio is so driven to get power is to protect themselves from being overpowered by others, because they do have that fear.
Well, and I think the 4th house, Virgo, I see that as I've got to do it right.
Oh, yes.
Well, she...
But the Mars on Saturn and Pluto is ultimate
they also
need to keep proving herself to herself.
Oh, yeah, because she wasn't okay, like I said, when
Yeah.
she got with the book.
Right.
She never got any approval from her father, and that certainly shows it more to the
Well,
Saturn.
she's very idealistic,
You know,
too.
the father was
Yeah.
the king, and
Yeah,
she
right.
figured herself in the whole 3rd house of early environment. So
Uh-huh.
that's what I'm trying to see. Maybe some aspect of this is she's trying really hard to make it okay.
Yeah.
Well, you remember Grace Kelly? She was a Scorpio with the moon in Pisces, too, and she had a father who totally never gave her any credit.
Uh-huh.
So she was always trying to, get his approval. And
Mhm.
he died 4 years after she was married. I don't know if she ever got it from him or not.
Mhm.
But, she did
Yeah, and then
marry
she
well.
married another playboy who
But she married
fooled
well.
around for her, on her. Yeah, was never faithful.
Interesting, she married well, so depending on what your idea of what you wanted.
Well,
Maybe people like that who.
she married for prestige,
Yes,
but
something
not for
from it.
love.
Well, yeah, I always say, okay, you can stay with it if you're that kind of person, if there's enough payback. My friend, from the speech friend, and her husband, and, terrible love, so she didn't get out of script, she didn't believe that she thought she was going to change her life completely. So maybe that's worth it to her. So I don't, if you're not that kind of person,
Yeah.
you fail to realize that for some people, if the pay is high enough, they'll stay in any kind of relationship.
Well, she married for prestige, but she already had prestige in
But
Hollywood.
that
Yeah.
wasn't enough to prove
But
anything to his
she
wife.
got, yeah, she got
Yeah, show business.
the royalty.
Family in Philadelphia?
Show
I don't
show
think
business
so.
is not as respected as royalty.
I see.
Right. Oh,
Okay.
no way.
Like
Yeah.
Princess Diana.
Yes, right.
That's really interesting.
Okay, well, let's take a quick look at Al before your tape runs out.
Okay, unless you're tired.
Well,
We'll
we're
finish
getting
the
there.
tape.